Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you November 14th. Tonight's Thursday. By the time this is uploaded, it'll probably be Friday. I just got done watching TNA Impact Wrestling. Right before I watched this, I made a video discussing if WrestleMania was worth the money. It's about 20 minutes long, but it's a good discussion video. Make sure you go over and check that out if you got some time. I thought tonight's Impact was basically... It was a pretty good show. I mean, honestly, there was some good wrestling on there, and that's what I watch Impact for. WWE, honestly, to me, has better storylines overall, but if you want to sit down and you want to watch some wrestling, TNA gives it to you. This was basically the go-home show for, what the fuck is the pay-per-view? No Surrender is the show that's going to be... next week, one of the, I call them the Clash of the Champions shows, the ones that are named after the old pay-per-views, to make you want to check it out, because they make you think that you're getting like pay-per-view quality stuff for free, and basically the main event is something that would be on a pay-per-view somewhere else, if they were still doing that, but the rest of the show just is most of the time just a regular TV show. I think the first time they did it really worked out with the Chris Sabin versus Bully Ray Destination X, but then I think they did the hardcore pay-per-view, and I don't think that really turned out as well. But this next one, basically the opening segment was Ace and Eights coming out. They were interrupted from their little victory party, over fooling everybody in the world about their breakup. They were interrupted by Mr. Anderson. Anderson came out there and restated the stipulation for the match, that if Ace and Eights Bully Ray lost the match, Ace and Eights would have to disband and be gone forever. And then Anderson threw in that he was so sure that he was going to win, that, you know, his wife was at home about to give birth to twins, and that if he lost this match, he was going to go home and he was going to be a permanent dad, basically putting his career on the line, which is a pretty stupid move. The match is already booked, the match is already signed, and you're throwing in a stipulation that if you lose the match, you're done forever. The only thing that this can make me think is that, you know, Mr. Anderson, when he got put out, when he lost the match to Bully Ray, that was the end of his contract, and basically he re-signed a deal in order to come back, and he's just come back, and they're not going to make him retire basically his first match back in. So basically, go to Shop TNA, buy all your Shop TNA stuff, such as an Ace and Eights merchandise, anything you can get your hands on. It's a perfect time. I guess we can say this video is brought to you by the Black November sale. $5 DVDs, great deals on t-shirts and everything else under the sun. But go buy an Ace and Eights shirt, because basically you're going to wish you did someday, because after next week, they're done. Come back from commercial, and they just basically say that during the commercial, they booked a match, and it's Nux wrestling Mr. Anderson in a match, and they're just basically beating the hell out of each other. Most of the time, Nux has the advantage. At one point, out of the middle of nowhere, basically Anderson gets the upside. He gets the win. Nothing really big here, just sort of like, it is what it is. As we go to commercial, we get to see Joseph Park challenging Christopher Daniels to a match from last week's Impact, where he got the green apple teeny thrown into his face. He just was so pissed off by this that he had to challenge him to a one-on-one match. Things didn't work out for Joseph Park that well. Basically, Christopher Daniels hit him in the nuts, rolled him up, and got the pin. This match, honestly, was nothing really special to me either. This is the only time that I just sort of was, like, completely out of it for this show. Just kept on thinking that, what the fuck? You know, never mind. I'm trying to change my mind. This was a really good show. I think it had good stuff on this show. Definitely had a great main event. But I'm realizing what's coming up is not good. I didn't like this match. I didn't like the next match. I didn't like another match later on down the road. But, you know, the whole time I was watching this Joseph Park versus Christopher Daniels match, the only thing I was really thinking was, how long has this Joseph Park storyline been going on? I remember the match when Joseph Park came in and he was blaming Bully Ray for Abyss's disappearance, and that's when we saw Bully Ray in the ring and we saw Joseph Park in the ring, and Abyss came all the way down the ramp. Joseph Park rolled him up and got the win. At one point, we saw Joseph Park and Abyss in the same place at the same time. That happened on pay-per-view. Come that next episode of Impact, that never happened. And we're not supposed to believe that it ever happened. And it's just supposed to be a figment of our own imagination. I'm sure that if you brought it up to any of the people in TNA, they would treat me like Samoa Joe when I asked them what happened to him when he got kidnapped, and just act like I was on drugs, and that never happened in my whole life. As they come back, we get to see Ace and Nate's meeting up in the back. Nux and Bischoff are scared because Nux lost the match, and in previous times in Aces and Eights, that if you lost the match, you were thrown out of the Aces and Eights, and Bully comes up, and he's in all good spirits, saying, "Hey, Nuxie, you win some, you lose some, we're going to be alright." And they make plans to leave for the strip club. They're leaving the show right now to go to the strip club. And Bully Ray throws in the quick line to say, make sure that you don't tell Brooke. And that's it. It shows them leaving the show. We get to see EC3 come out. He gets to fight the tag team of Norm Furnham and Dewey Barnes. He beats two guys, and all of a sudden his streak goes from 6-0 to 8-0. Taz is trying to put over that he beat two guys at one time, so his streak should go up by 2. You know, the streak worked for Goldberg. It didn't work for Crimson, but I guess they're hoping that it's going to work for EC3. We'll see where we go from here. The Friends of AJ Styles bought another infomercial that was on the show. Jeff Hardy went over the Full Metal Mayhem match last week, getting over the whole Impact 365 thing. I haven't seen everything they put up on YouTube, on the Impact Wrestling account, but the stuff that I have seen is pretty cool. Some stuff is sort of like, why are you uploading this? But it is what it is. Dixie Carter comes out and she books the next two matches that are going to be in the tournament. We're going to get James Storm versus Robert Roode next week. That's going to be a bull rope match. And then we're going to see Magnus versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe took the microphone. He basically did a pretty good shoot on Dixie Carter, saying everything that's on everybody's mind, saying that she didn't know what she was doing. Her bad business decisions is the reason why AJ's not there. She should just, settle up and pay AJ what he deserves to be paid. AJ needs to be there. I'm guessing that this is going to be the start of Dixie Carter and Magnus as a team. Magnus was in the suit. He was chilling out in the back, and he seemed like he was sort of with Dixie, and Dixie did give him a compliment along the way. I can see Dixie Carter making sure that Samoa Joe loses his match, and that's starting the team of Dixie Carter and Magnus, and seeing if Magnus can put the title on there. He was my pick to win the whole deal. And then as we come back from the next commercial, Bischoff, who was supposed to be leaving to go to that strip club, is just standing around backstage. Not doing nothing. Not ready to leave, not waiting on nobody, nothing. Anderson beats the shit out of him. He handcuffs him to the thing. Ace and Eights, not looking for him, not caring about Bischoff at all. Gail Kim and Lady Tappa come out for their match. They go over the whole thing of saying that it's the open challenge. She's defeated everybody in the world. And who would come out but one of the Blossom twins? We already saw a jobber match earlier in the show, and in that jobber match, EC3 beat two guys. And now Gail Kim is going to beat one girl that nobody cares about. Somebody on Twitter, my good friend Victor, I'm a Melfo, broke the news to me when I was asking, has anybody heard if, the reason they're doing this open challenge is if Mickie James is going to come back. Because I can't think of anybody that keeps saying anybody in or out of TNA, making me think that somebody's going to be making a return or somebody's going to be coming into the company. And there's nobody out there on the free agent market I can really think of besides for Awesome Kong. And I don't even think Awesome Kong wants to come back to TNA. I think that she was put over pretty well in her time there, but I don't think that she was treated well. So I don't think that she could be the one that's coming back. Kelly, I don't see her going there. Michelle McCool, definitely not going there. So there's not really any chicks on the open market that I can really think of, minus Victoria, who I think is was told by the company that she was too old, so I don't know why she would want to come back to fight Gail Kim. So something has to come out of this. But Mickie James has been training the girls at the NXT training facility down there with Serena Del Rey, so it might not be her coming back either, because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Basically, she beat the crap out of her in a match that didn't mean nothing. That was one of the 2 jobber matches that were on the show. From there, we come back. Anderson comes back. He unlocks Bischoff, picks him up over his back, giving him like the fireman's carry. Walking around backstage, Ace and Eights still not looking for where Bischoff is. From there, we go to the main event. We got to see a good hype-up video, hyping up Austin Aries, saying everything that he's done, becoming an X Division champion, becoming the World Heavyweight champion. Come back from commercial, and we see a hype-up video for Kurt Angle. Do we really need a hype-up video for Kurt Angle? Anybody watching Impact knows who he is. He's the best wrestler in the company. They just put him in the Hall of Fame less than a month ago. So I thought, honestly, it was kind of a weird to give this guy a hype-up video and have it be, like, scaled down hugely from the one that you gave him at the Hall of Fame. They had a good wrestling match. It was a submission match. I honestly thought that Robert Roode was going to get involved in this match. He did come out of the back. He sat on the stage on the very top of the ramp and just looked down and saw what was going on. I honestly thought that he was going to get involved and maybe cost Angle the match, which Angle would come down and cost Roode his match next week. But I guess there is a chance that this match could be moving on and we could actually see this match in the finals. We're going to see it sooner or later. That's one thing I got to know. It seemed like they would hype this up in order to put this on the pay-per-view, but I never heard them say anything about them having a match. That would make that show next week a whole hell of a lot better. Have them have just a wrestling match just for the fuck of it, even though they're involved in this tournament. And I think, no, because you can't do that, because Roode fights Storm next week. Shut up, Steve. You don't know what you're talking about. But somewhere down the road, I guess on the next real pay-per-view, Genesis, I believe that would be in January. These guys are probably going to get it on. Boom. But basically, what was it? Angle, how'd he beat him? Angle beat him by a submission move, and I know it wasn't the ankle lock, because he tried to put the ankle lock on a few times, and Aries was able to avoid it. But Angle won the match. As soon as the match was over, Ken Anderson came out there with Bischoff over his shoulders. Ace and Eights still not looking for him. Everyone was really surprised on what was going on. I don't know if they were trying to time this to make sure they got this out of the show on time, but Roode didn't know to move out of the way. He had to run with his chair at the last minute. Kurt Angle was in the ring. They kept on doing face shots of him, and he was just surprised. Like, Anderson was just a fucking wacko or something like that. Anderson came out. He laid him out doing the pile driver right there on the stage. The same move that Bully Ray did to him, ending his career. Sort of showing Bully that he wasn't going to be able to pile drive him through the stage and see what's going to go on. He ripped off Bischoff's colors. Who knows if that's going to be the way of evening out the score and making sure that Bischoff won't interfere in the match, because this is the same move that took out Anderson out of Impact for 2 months before Bound for Glory and a little bit after, before he came back and returned. So I don't know, maybe it'll just be Nux. But the match next week is going to be a no disqualification, so I'm guessing it's going to be sort of a playoff of what happened and all the other Bully Ray and Aces and Eights matches, that Nux will come down there and get involved somehow, maybe bring the hammer. I don't know, but more than likely, if we're ever going to see the return of the guys that they were hyping up at Bound for Glory with, like Devon and Doc, it better be next week. It'd be good to see those guys return, just to see the whole club dissolve. Honestly, Ace and Eights to me started sort of fun, sort of slowed out, got real exciting, and carried me into Bound for Glory. And if I was a betting man, it's going to be next week that this thing's all over and all she wrote. So we'll see where we go from there. It's going to be a good one. Peace out.